is currently Saturday, February 22nd, 2025. It's 8:26 a.m. This is a screen recording, just providing an ongoing example regarding showing you, helping there be a greater understanding regarding what is already proven, the fact that a supernatural environment surrounds me. The supernatural environment that surrounds me is evidence of what is stalking that a government is engaged in, that the government would ordinarily refer to as what would be surveillance, where the government is keeping you under surveillance, is invading your privacy. When they are surrounded with legal authority to do so, it is called surveillance. It is called that which is done pursuant to a warrant, pursuant to a probable cause, pursuant to some ongoing lawful investigation. That's not what the state is doing. And when the state is engaging in this conduct outside of the bounds of the Constitution, of the law, the state is stalking. Okay. And the state is stalking also maliciously in concert with an entire population. And this entire population that the government is a part of is demon possessed. And that is what is significant about the supernatural aspect of the pattern of conduct, where you are readily identifying that pattern of conduct. You are recognizing it. It is providing probable cause to investigate the state based on the specific environment, the supernatural character of the environment where the entity is stalking an American citizen. And the government is stalking an American citizen in furtherance of an ongoing conspiracy to kill that person. They're not just stalking them for funsies. They're not just doing it to learn something about the person and then will let them continue living their life. They're not just doing so in order to cause a minor disruption and harass them a little bit, see how they act under those circumstances, and then go on to the next experiment. The government is stalking American citizens in concert with a population because the government is conspiring to murder this person, and doing so in concert even through the people, which is the same entity that is murdering people together, whom they are stalking and monitoring together. Monitoring is that which is demonic. A human being is not monitoring. A human being that is demon possessed is monitoring. You are prosecuting the physical, not the spiritual. So you will prosecute what is criminal monitoring, a sex offense, through stalking that human beings commit knowingly and intentionally and obsessively. That's what you're prosecuting in courts, where the demon possessed are practicing witchcraft and they are surrounding in a demonic environment, which is also proven through tangible evidence in order to prosecute what is public corruption. The high organized crime that the states are practicing, targeting American citizens, it is domestic terrorism and it is psychological torture, a program of psychological torture where the demon possessed seek to systematically break down an American citizen in order to expose them to circumstances where they may be more efficiently, more easily killed, which is murder. Psychological torture by the state, that is gang stalking, is analogous to, it is sufficient evidence of malice aforethought. There is no accident upon gang stalking. It is reasonable that there shall be a loss of life when the state is gang stalking. Okay, so the entity is doing this, and that's what's relevant. I started this video right now with regard to what I just documented yesterday. Corrupt businesses such as Innovage and the moving company, gang stalking with this same elderly, sex-offending, demon-possessed gang stalker in unit number 42. And if you haven't noticed already, this is an African-American woman. This gang stalking system is based on the spiritual. It's not based on the physical, meaning she's a black woman who is gang stalking me, a younger black woman. It has nothing to do with age either. She's not targeting me because I'm younger than her. Now, I want to be clear, in the physical, these demon-possessed people are very much envious. They're very much insecure. They very much suffer from inferiority complexes. But you have witnessed the evidence of what is not based on race. There are African-American gang-stalking police officers, African-American gang-stalking sheriff's deputies, African-American gang-stalking pilots. And you're looking at African-American gang-stalking neighbors, if you will, the people of the state. My quote unquote fake family, my demon possessed relatives, they're African American. Okay. The UPS guy, the mailman, the entity, they're filled with black folks that also like to claim that Black Lives Matter on the news when they're creating a distracting narrative regarding what's actually happening in California. Okay. This has nothing to do with race. The entity is engaging in a pattern of conduct, and this is what Innovage was engaged in yesterday in the specific environment. And this is why you have at 8:07 in the morning. Today is on the bottom is what you'll see I captured today earlier. This is moments ago. It's currently again 8:31 a.m. And so this is a screen recording, which I always use for further analysis, analytical purposes, ongoing, corroborating evidence, proving what I've already proven. Okay, reiterating what I've already established and what I said years ago is the case, and I have proven through evidence that it is the case, and it is relevant that you be reminded about what has been proven. The fact that the environment is a supernatural one is evidence of what is stalking by people who never intended on being caught stalking, because you don't know them by name, because you've never been to that particular address before, because you know them by name. They're your relatives of them, or you go to school at that location, or they live at the current location. These are all the false premises upon which federal group stalking and monitoring resides. And they're all false premises. And it's all legally irrelevant. It's demonic. It's, in other words, in federal court, it's malicious. Okay? So the entity has a fake son, as you'll see at Woodside Senior Apartments. This is the fake son that stays over this same apartment building. This is the apartment number 41, if you will, the first floor. This is apartment number 41 as I'm at the edge, as I walk to the edge of the parking lot. This is at 8:06 in the morning. This is what you see yesterday at the top. This is what I was giving a screen recording capturing the fake sun, which is 2 hours away from what I captured yesterday. Oh, today at 8 o'clock, 8:06 specifically. And yesterday, at the same apartment building, you are looking at this fake sun that's over the same apartment building. As I walk to the extremity of the same location, I walk to the parking lot to document the license plates of Innovage and the black truck with the New Jersey license plate. And you see the fake sun remain over me as I walk to the same location, the end of the sidewalk, where nearest apartment 41, where the fake sun removes nearest apartment 41. This is 2 hours later. Okay. If you're not clear on how the natural environment works, the sun that is, there's only one thus far as Satan, excuse me, not to Satan. Satan hasn't exposed. I'm exposing what Satan is doing as far as science. All right. Satan's minions that tell us about what's going on in the environment, things that are totally insufficient with regard to what I've exposed of how this light source behaves, and farcical doctrines such as the explanation regarding, as you would refer to, the sun and it's getting hotter, and the change in the environment, whatnot, the change in the atmosphere based on things that we're doing like pollution and whatnot. And I'm not going to sit here and state that the way that we treat the earth is irrelevant with regard to our taking care of that which has been literally gifted to us. Creation itself. We shouldn't be putting garbage in the ocean. You shouldn't be littering, all that, but this has nothing to do with the fake sun that's sitting idle all day long. Okay. This has nothing to do with a lot of the farcical doctrines that I'm not going to reference because you are aware of them. Okay. Daylight savings time is absolutely irrelevant with regard to the specific environment. These are ideas, these are rules, these are things that are conditioning our mindset, that are, while we are literally blind to what surrounds us, and it's right in front of your face as well. Okay, so I just want to be clear. This has nothing to do with the ozone getting smaller because we're polluting, and this is demonic. It defies nature, and it has been present for a very long time. This is something that I am now proving through tangible evidence, but this is not new. It didn't just start as a matter of my documentation, in 2018. That's not when this started. That's not when you've been surrounded by a fake sun. That's not when it started, because when I started documenting it. All right. So I just want to be clear on that. But what you see here is capturing evidence against Innovage, which is a corrupt business engaged in federal stalking. Innovage is documented engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring, and is therefore criminally liable for all of the pattern of conduct that the state practices. And Innovage, through its business name, came and facilitated that criminal activity, as I documented 2 hours later than what I'm documenting today. The fake sun being over me at the edge as I walk toward the parking lot, and I'm capturing the fake sun over the same apartment building, number 41 on the first floor. And this is what I documented at the top, what you see here. As I'm comparing it to what you see at the top, is that on the February 21st, 2024 at 10 o'clock in the morning, I'm documenting the environment at Alvarado Gardens in Los Angeles over me and at Woodside Senior Apartments in Ontario over me. And today I'm comparing what you see with this fake sun at the same position. And there's a 2 hour difference with regard to the maintenance of this fake sun that moves, by the way, as I move. Because while I am also at the front door, this is where the fake sun is not over this edge of that apartment building. It's not over on this side. You see it here. You see, there's no fake sun here right now until I walk down there. You'll see it at this edge of the apartment building as I walk out. It's at this edge of the apartment building. This is nearest apartment number 44. Okay. The fake sun moves as I move, as I walk to the edge of the, toward the parking lot. This is where the fake sun moves to be over me as I document. This is exactly what ENAGED was engaging in yesterday. Pacing in the parking lot with the two trucks. The truck that was honking, you could see the fake sun reflecting off of the window. It's not in Los Angeles, in other words, over my front door, which I will show you at the same time. I started this video today at 8:06 in the morning. At 8:07 in the morning in Los Angeles, the fake sun is over my front door in Los Angeles, California at Alvarado Gardens. All right, but you're seeing it reflecting off of the third party's vehicle in the parking lot of Woodside Senior Apartments, which, by the way, what you see at the top, it's over, in order to be in a position reflecting off of that vehicle's window, it's right over the top of it. This is not rocket science. And you see it as it is not over this building when I'm at the front door. But as I walk away from the front door toward the parking lot, there it is. Okay. This is not where it was while I'm looking out of the front door and I'm looking outside of the front door. It is not over that edge of the building. So let's look at it again. This is called stalking with a fake sun, the evidence of a population that is stalking. They are the demon possessed as well. And they are engaged in a program of psychological torture, which AVANATH Capital Management shall be civilly and criminally prosecuted for. Okay? The population is gang stalking me. And that's the significance of stepping outside and showing you the evidence of what is a fake sun moving in real time. The evidence of those who are in my path are also stalking. That demon doesn't have to be in the vehicle in order to document the fact that they're stalking. They're all stalking at Woodside Senior Apartments. And the fake sun remains over me in alignment at Woodside Senior Apartments for the criminal purposes of demons who know exactly what I'm doing inside of the apartment. They know exactly the moment when I'm inside of even the bathroom, and they want to then engage in what is their ritualistic stalking conduct because of their worship of my genitalia. And they're doing so as I document 8GEN 638. Now, this is going to be published on the podcast. You're witnessing me narrate the demonic, which is criminal evidence against a state government that's going to be prosecuted by the federal government. And like I said, no demon-possessed state entity is going to tell the federal government that it's going to cease engaging in domestic terrorism. The state of California is demon-possessed. That's why they're gang stalking, and they are delusional psychopaths, and they're violent sex offenders. And I'm documenting the fact that the state refuses to stop stalking me, refuses to stop psychologically targeting me, refuses to stop harassing and terrorizing me. And that's also a part of the ways in which it's going to be prosecuted. And it includes the demon possessed in units 33 through 64 at Woodside Senior Apartments, where I'm capturing that which defies nature, which has nothing to do with the demise of the, hold on, let me show you the fake sun in the image. With the demise of the ozone layer. This has nothing to do with daylight savings time. These are rules, by the way. However, I have abided by these farcical ideas regarding daylight savings time for further evidence showing you how irrelevant it is, because it's not the sun. It's not the natural environment. And 2 hours from now, as I captured this video at 8:06 this morning, and this is the evidence which you see over the same building 2 hours from this video that I captured at 8:06. This was captured at 10 o'clock, 10:40, more than 2.5 hours, where the demon in unit number 42, an African-American demon-possessed gang-stalking sex offender over the age of 55, relying on the government to pay her rent while she's engaged in domestic terrorism. And this old woman has the audacity to act with impunity while she knows she's being documented. That impunity is a matter of video evidence, because all I have to do is get video, video that I already have, but I have so much, and the entity is engaged in a pattern that there's no other way for it to engage in it. I can just go 24 hours the next day and get the fake sun, 2 hours over the same apartment building where you are looking at the malice of the elderly gang stalking me. As though anything other, while you empty your apartment and put all your belongings into a moving truck, your demons under a fake sun and an engineered light, and you are obsessively gang stalking me. That's what she was doing yesterday, and that's what she's doing. And she does it on a walker. And she represents an entity. And what any demon on a walker, any demon on a bicycle, any demon on roller skates, any demon driving a school bus, any demon driving a police vehicle, flying in planes and helicopters, you will be prosecuted the same. They are domestic terrorists. And they are acting in furtherance of the conspiracy by the state to murder and kidnap American citizens in the state of California. All right. And what is comparable to the sky space in Florida, I will continue to use as an example, because this 2-hour difference, you're talking about what would be 11 o'clock in Florida. That which is remaining over Woodside Senior Apartments is not in Florida. So this is speaking to what is probable cause for the feds to investigate any state government upon allegations of federal group stalking and monitoring, where the unsophisticated target individual would describe strangers stalking them, strangers attacking them, strangers having their information, the government harassing them, which they don't understand. The strangers that are stalking them, it is the government. All right. So I want to make clear that this is the evidence that I'm documenting, and this is comparable to what you saw yesterday in Ovage, a corrupt government actor, not operating as a private business, even working for, affiliated with San Bernardino County. San Bernardino County is fully exposed as a domestic terrorist, okay? A kidnapper, engaged in criminal defamation, gang stalkers working at every San Bernardino County, which is a state facilitating venue. And they're doing so as I highlight what is the fake sun that they're gang stalking me under. All right. They're doing so while I'm comparing that which is the specific environment in Los Angeles, California. That's the significance of the February 21st, 2024 image at 10:07 a.m. Okay. And as I capture this same exact picture of what you saw yesterday at 2 hours earlier at 8:07, it is the evidence that is putting everybody in federal prison in units 33 through 64. And this, what Woodside Senior Apartments is doing, is evidence that the state government is still keeping me under surveillance. And is still engaging in what is sexual violence, still obsessed with my genitalia, still spending thousands and thousands on a daily basis. That's why Paul Leon is being removed from office. That's why. Okay? Paul Leon is not the only corrupt mayor in the state of California that is gang stalking. That is a domestic terrorist leader. All right. And the entity is doing so as you are looking at the fake sun that's remaining over the apartment complex, over me, in other words, in this manner, over the top of my head, and then remaining over me as I walk back to the apartment. The entity amplifying train activity, that's under the guise, that's impossible audible activity, as impossible as the sun being over the same position over the apartment over me 2 hours earlier than it was yesterday. As impossible that the sun would be over Alvarado Gardens in the same manner at the same time, let alone doing the same thing at Woodside Senior Apartments in Ontario 2 hours earlier. As impossible as it is also impossible to hear the train inside of the apartment and also outside at that distance. And the fact that it's documented is criminal activity against the state. And the time that the people of the state are going to sit in federal prison is relevant. That's psychological torture. Understand it's not just some, well, so what about the train activity? Well, I'll tell you what about the train activity. It's audible activity while you are being molested with engineered light in an entirely circus environment, which is traumatic for the ordinary target individual that is being shown through, you're looking at the fact that the state is stalking you as you are subjected to that environment on a daily basis. And the sound of the train activity is an ongoing psychological means of torturing and being reminded. And it is also bold evidence created by the state while you document the state stalking you. The state has the audacity to continuously gang stalk you on video. It is relevant to impunity and malice. It is psychologically harmful. It is an impermissible threat. And it is that which is going to be used against every single last one that's subject to prison for it. That's what matters about the train activity. And it defies nature. It's demonic. All right. This is relevant to that impossible light activity that you see. And as I walk back toward the apartment, you will see that fake sun stroll back to be back in position as well. What you are looking at with regard to this specific environment, this is relevant to, again, I just wanted to make sure that you are aware of this, because this is what you saw while the people of the state were gang stalking me as I started this video. And the demons in Unit 42, they remain engaged in pacing, gang stalking with the people coming onto the grounds, with the demons that are gang stalking me on a 24-hour basis. These are admitted sex offenders. All right, that engage in the P.O.C. and where there is no there's no like coinciding narrative. You are gang stalking, period. And this level of impunity that I continuously document, this desperation, in other words, because that's what they are. They're demons that are desperate, and they're demons that are surrounded by evidence. And I'm documenting your license plate. I'm gathering your images. You're going to be prosecuted for that. All right. This is what the ordinary target individual suffers in silence with no evidence, no ability to legally analyze and assess what my rights are versus the state that thinks it's going to bully you and then murder and kidnap you, falsely depict you as some criminal or mentally deranged in doing so and making any kind of allegations against them. So this is what is relevant about what I'm documenting yesterday. And as I'm documenting this video again at 8:06 a.m., I want you to witness also what is further evidence of what is not the natural environment as what I documented on February 21st, 2024. Today is February 22nd, 2025. This is the fake sun that's over my front door. As I open my front door at 8:07 a.m., preparing to walk downstairs to my job at the same Alvarado Gardens in Los Angeles at 1800 to 1818 North Alvarado Street in Los Angeles, California, 90026. This is nowhere near being over the roof of the apartment where this fake sun remains over this same apartment building, specifically over units 33 through 48 from the beginning until the end of the day. And if you're unclear about that, I will go ahead and show you that this is exactly where the fake sun remains until the end of the day on a daily basis, where I am documenting the fake sun that is also setting an alignment to me outside of this same patio glass door that I'm looking at this morning as I walk outside to that parking lot. And this is the glass door that I'm looking out this morning. All right. And as I look outside of that glass door, this is what I'm looking out of. This is where the fake sun is setting an alignment to me. 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4:55, that's 9 hours later. That's not the natural environment. This is the evidence of an apartment complex engaged in gang stalking with the state of California for the criminal purposes of an entire population that comes onto the grounds to participate in this stalking by an entity, which is a massive sex offense. Okay. And they're doing so while I am showing evidence of what is where the fake sun rises and sets, where the entity is keeping a fake sun over me at one apartment, and is also monitoring all the evidence as I continuously gather that. While this is what I'm observing, this is the evidence of what's above what I documented at the same time of year, same time of day. And this is over my head as I stand outside of my front door. To be clear, this is what's the light activity inside of my apartment. So where the sun is over Alvarado Gardens at this time at 8:06 in the morning until 8:12. Okay, this is the light activity. The light activity inside of my apartment in Los Angeles is supposed to be the product of the sun, and it's not. It exists apart from what is the light source itself. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's not the sun, such that it's not the natural environment. Neither is this sunlight. And I've also shown you that in the absence of the light source, for example, over my in my apartment in Los Angeles, I very heavily documented engineer light on the ceiling inside of my bedroom. Inside of this apartment at Woodside Senior Apartments in Ontario, the engineer light that frames the front door on the inside of that's not the product of sunlight. It has nothing to do with the fake sun that's outside. That impossible light that's on the inside of the apartment, that's what's covering everything. This is not sunlight. This is not sunlight. This is a criminal surveillance that is underway by the state of California, and you are surrounded by an entirely demonic environment. The fake sun is the evidence, the reality of Satan, who is a spirit. Okay? His unintelligent effort to mimic that which God has created. God did not create there being thousands of suns over everyone in the United States. This is the work of Satan. And it is the evidence of surveillance by a corrupt government that's filled with the demon possessed, who are studying those who belong to Christ, studying and stalking. Okay. And this is the evidence through what is the unnatural environment. And I want to be clear, when you're looking at this light source that's remaining, because I want to go back toward the apartment 51 where I remain. This is where the fake sun remains all day long. Right. While you're looking at this is the light activity inside of my apartment in 2024 on February 21st, 2024 at 8:05 a.m. All right, this is impossible light activity that's manifesting again. This is another iteration of the same system of stalking with light, pursuing with light, following with light. That's the identification of a group stalker. That's all right. So outside of my front door, this is where I'm capturing this. This is the fake sun that's outside. You can see this light source here being outside. This is a covered structure above, but I'm showing you the impossible light activity that fills my apartment. And I'm identifying those who are in the path in the same way that the demon in the parking lot is gang stalking, while impossible light activity, like I described in my video captured this morning at 8:06 a.m., engineer light sweeping across the ceiling on the inside of the apartment. It's not enough that engineer light sits on the blinds on the inside of the apartment, that I'm being molested with engineered light that illuminates the inside of the apartment, that engineered light is streaming through the peephole, that engineered light streams across the ceiling, framing the front door. The demons are coming onto the property and doing so while engineered light sweeps across the ceiling. That's terrorism via directed light. It's the evidence of demons who are stalking. And they're stalking with the population that comes onto AVANATH Capital Management's property. AVANATH Capital Management is corrupt and shall be civilly and criminally prosecuted for what's going on the inside of its apartments while it's profiting, and its employees are stalking, and its property is the grounds for stalking by the state in furtherance of murder and kidnapping. You don't have any protected business rights. You don't, and you're going to be prosecuted for it. All right. This is where the entity is keeping the fake sun at 8:06. This is the light activity inside of my apartment. Having no constitutional in Los Angeles whatsoever, no legal protection from federal prosecution, from group stalking with the public entity, and also with the state that has been acting directly, the Los Angeles Police Department. This is that corrupt system of. So I want you to see. Just moving. It's very, very demonic when you are looking at the behavior of this light. It coats the environment around you and it drags itself. I'm giving you an illustration so you can understand the demented environment that you're surrounded by for a criminal purpose, no legitimate purpose whatsoever, no warrant, no probable cause. It's serving a criminal system by a public entity, and this is serving. So I just want to be clear. You're looking at my shadow that's upright on my third floor apartment at apartment 1806 North Alvarado Street in Los Angeles, California. The blinds are closed in the living room. Engineered light is stretching into the depths of that of my living room. My shadow, as you can see, as I walk through that engineered light, that's so that sex offenders that are monitoring and stalking can molest me with engineered light. That's it. That's an integral aspect of this surveillance system is the engineered light. And Satan has engaged in what is keeping all of us under surveillance in an entirely circus-like environment. That's not the sun over your head, nor is that sunlight that coats everything. When you are under the impression and have been conditioned to think that that's the sun and everything, where you see the sun, oh, well, that's sunlight, and it's not. And you can also see that as I document this peculiar light that creates magnified size of shadows like that which is inside of my apartment as I'm walking in it. That is constructive presence of the state. The state has no warrant or probable cause to keep me under surveillance. And you know that it is the state because they're also stalking me in helicopters like I documented the LAPD engaging in. And it's not a coincidence. This is exactly what the Ontario Police Department engaged in before I relocated to Los Angeles. And as I come back from Los Angeles, that's still what the Ontario Police Department continuously engages in. That's why demons like Jason Knighton are going to federal prison for years. For the documented impunity and malice. Monitor you, all right? This is the pattern of conduct, the same engineered light that covers the whole property, Alvarado Gardens, and then the entity suggests that sunlight appearing on the ship of the windows is also through blinds that are closed. This engineered light that's coming through, I want you to see that over here on the side, through the front door, reaching into the depths. Go back, sorry. Reaching into the depths. You can understand the demented environment that you're surrounded by. I want you to see that. Covering into the depths of my apartment. Into the depths of the apartment. That's impossible light activity. That's impossible light activity. This is what you see when I open up the front door at here in Woodside Senior Apartments. That's not the product of sunlight. And so this is what you're paying attention to, and it's recognizing how the system of surveillance works. Light being present. This is light that's manifesting in the shade. But as I open the front door, this is what you are paying attention to, as I've documented it plenty of times. Hold on. You can't hear it. Hold on. And I want to document inside. Engineered light strolling across the ceiling. And as you can see here, engineered light is shooting into the depths of the apartment. This is coming what is underneath a covered patio. There's a demon stalking in the path out here. The engineered light is coexisting with there being present in the parking lot. This is what, again, the Mazda RMMAK is doing under the fake sun. Okay, so in this video, I'm reciting what prompted my attention as I'm opening the front door, and I'm showing you the engineered light that's manifesting under a covered patio. So that is the absence of anything that has to do with this light here through what is also closed blinds. And then you've got the supernatural light that is appearing on the inside of an apartment where the structure of the structure Ordinarily provides for what would be shade, and also shade through what would be blinds. So not only is it necessarily when you're logically going to follow, well, if light is appearing on the floor, then that means it would have to bounce underneath at an angle to appear underneath an extended structure to keep sun out. That's why we have things like patio covers and roofs that extend over to create shade. Covering walkways, it's for shade. That's what those things are for. And so logic dictates that where you have a covered structure, sunlight is being blocked off. Sunlight is not that which is doing all manner of gymnastics, reaching at an angle underneath, and doing so also. You're talking about not only the patio structure outside of this patio, but then also the building itself coming into through the frame of the patio glass door on the floor through the blinds that are closed. And then it's at a distance away. So I want you to look at this light activity again. It's at a distance away from the, at a distance away from the blinds. So you can see that. And it is relevant because I'm breaking this light activity down so that you could see how ridiculous, how asinine it is. The demonic is right in front of your face, and it's something that you should open your eyes to. Not to obsess over. If it's something that you don't understand, that's fine. That's why you have people like me to break it down for you. It is something, though, that you can see when you are looking at the evidence of what's remaining over me for the duration of the day. That in and of itself, because of the exclusivity of the sun, that's how you know right there, even if your mind cannot wrap yourself around the things that I'm explaining to you, that's not the natural environment as you see the sun over you in the sky space in whatever state that you're in. Okay. So, oops, I want you to see this light activity. It's appearing at a distance away from the blinds. And then you're looking at what is a patio structure that covers, that is speaking to all manner of impossible light activity. And as I walked outside, And as I walked outside, you can see the shade where there is no light that would be the explaining what that light activity is appearing on the inside. And even so, the patio structure is what it is designed for, to keep sun away from being underneath. You could sit in the shade, in other words. Not only is that speaking to the impossibility that light would be there, but then it's reaching underneath. This is a door frame right here. It's reaching underneath, doing gymnastics to be inside of the apartment, underneath the patio structure and on the inside of the apartment on the floor. Okay, that's speaking to the impossibility. That's the demonic. Literally, what you see with your eyes with regard to this light, it is the evidence of the existence of the demonic. That which you are looking at and merely attributing to what is physical, meaning sunlight from the sun, is actually spiritual. It's impossible light activity. It's the demonic. Okay, and it is with regard to the criminal. It's evidence of criminal surveillance. That's stalking by the state. That's surveillance. And it's also occurring on your communication devices. It's occurring everywhere that you're going. All right. And so this is breaking down the illusion that there's public property where you have a right to be. No, you don't. No, you don't. And it is aiding the government in murdering and kidnapping people and no one ever knowing what is actually going on. And it starts with enforcing your rights under laws that as they exist. And that's all I'm doing. The way that the laws exist now, the government does even the way that laws exist. And they're practicing the demonic. They're practicing witchcraft. I'm prosecuting Satan under the laws as they exist now. Okay, this is what you're witnessing. But I want to be clear. I have documented plenty of times as I open the front door and engineer light appears on the inside of the apartment door, which is impossible light activity. Like, here you go. Okay. This is what I'm capturing on an ongoing basis at 8:09 in the morning. Engineer light is appearing, stretching through. You see it on the bags. You see it stretching. And this is my shadow. This is the shadow of the metal mesh door. It's diagonal on the blinds. This is all manner of impossible light activity. This is captured at 8:09 in the morning. The entity engages in all manner of inconsistent light activity as I document. The more that I scrutinize the idiocy with this light, the more variations that you witness. And I want to be clear, consistency with impossible light activity is equally criminal. It's equally evidence of gang stalking. Inconsistency with this impossible light activity is more corroborating evidence regarding what is under no circumstances becoming natural, becoming that which is anything other than probable cause. You will never make a natural environment out of an idle fake sun all day long, no matter how detailed. But these demons are, it's not. Satan is not all knowing. Satan is not a genius. He's not. Okay, Satan is a spirit and Satan is using people. Satan is using a lot of people to target one person. And this one person is prosecuting. And I even go to the extent to scrutinize. And you can do that through the evidence. And that's why I show you, oh, what was happening on this day and on this year, same time of year, even down to same time of day. Let's isolate it to the same venue at the same time. What's going on at that same venue, at that same location at a later time. And you will understand and witness what is under all circumstances defying common sense. Highly unintelligent. What is obvious for the prosecution of the state of California. Because what they're usually doing with this absence of high intelligence, all they do is murder people and kidnap them who never have a chance and opportunity to speak to what they were surrounded by, what they were targeted by. Okay, that's what's so threatening about being surrounded by idiots who are gang stalking you. It's very much a threat to your life. All right, the entity is doing this while the entity is keeping a fake sun over me. I want you to look at this again. This is the pattern of conduct that I'm showing in Los Angeles. While I open my front door, an engineer light is stretching, just appearing on the living room floor on the inside. That's what I want to get back to, but I like to keep so you can pay attention to what you're looking at as I go back to apartment 51. This is engineer light stretching on the inside of my apartment as I open the front door. Okay, go back.
The depths of my impossible light activity, sunlight like a laser is shooting.
There's a covered patio here. Okay, this creates for shade. Then you have the inexplicable presence of light that's just appearing on the inside. This is the things you're paying attention to. That's demonic. That's impossible light activity. It is the evidence of criminal surveillance. These are the things you're paying attention to when you have probable cause to investigate the allegations of someone stating strangers are stalking them, strangers are attacking them, strangers are following them around, the government is harassing them, they've been accused of things, of the inexplicable and unjust treatment by the state that's, for example, trying to frame them for things that they did not commit in the face of evidence that they are disregarding in order to accomplish that criminal objective. This is the entity that is gang stalking.
Underneath the covering into the depths of my apartment.
This is the light that's just appearing in the middle of the floor. This is the P.O.C. That's engineer light, stalking with light. And it's a sex offense while it's happening where you live. And it's evidence of an entire population monitoring you inside of a private space. People that have kids, people that have spouses, people that have public positions in office, and they're violent sex offenders worshiping the genitalia of the one that they're monitoring. That's how you know all of that by the virtue of impossible light activity. And this light activity is that which defies nature while the sun is sitting over me at the same time in Ontario, California at Woodside Senior Apartments at 408 West G Street in Ontario, California, 91762, I believe is the zip code. All right, and this is 1806 North Alvarado Street in Los Angeles, California, inside of my apartment. And all I did was then I walked downstairs to my job where the entity kept the fake sun over me all day long. And this is the prosecution of the state of California, but this is the documentation where I show you the fake sun that's over the top of my head at this same apartment complex where I also worked, where the entity was gang stalking in helicopters all day. And as I went back to my apartment all night, criminal interference with quiet enjoyment, where a bunch of demons were collecting welfare because they can't even pay their rent. They're all going to prison as well. Okay, this is the entity that relies on a corrupt population to engage in a sex offense and keeping you under surveillance in doing so. That's the significance of what I documented today at 8:06 a.m. And this being while the fake sun is remaining over my front door in Los Angeles on February 21st, 2024, as I capture the same time of year, same maintenance of a light source, which could not possibly be the sun. All right, that's the P.O.C. by the state of California. It is currently 9:04 a.m. This is P.O.C.